welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. Trying to go live in back-to-back weeks. Mr. Dano, you are here. Thanks for being here, my man. Right now it is about 9:12 Central Time, my time. It is Sunday, the 21st of April. Now, we got some real fire to get into, some meat to get into. Before I get into that, guys, I'm at right now at 393. First goal is to get to 500 subs, and then 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, this show will skyrocket and take off. I guarantee you that I'll be able to get a desktop for filming graphics, so I can show you certain things instead of just saying them. Studio equipment, sound bites, and a call-in line for live shows whenever I'm doing live shows that have a big lobby. Law Nation's the only other person that does a call-in line consistently, and I think that's so important for general public to be heard, on a passion of their life. Everybody here either bleeds blue and silver or is a troll, but all interested in the star. I know that. So it's a free investment, guys. Hit that red subscribe button. It's a free investment. It costs you nothing. In the near future, if you seem to not like my content, you can unsubscribe. But if you hit that red subscribe button, guarantee you're going to be help building something very special. Everybody brings something different to the table. Mike Fisher is a journalist, works inside the Star. He brings his take from inside the Star. Law Nation has connects inside the Star also. He knows certain players. He brings his perspective. Mark Holmes and Rome, it's basically Cowboys fan talk is how they roll. And pretty much that's how I put my mind down too. My first game was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo. Since then, I was like 5, 6. Since then, I've bled blue and silver, played the game my entire youth, been a student of the game my entire life. This seems to work for Mike Fisher. I don't have a bell with me, but on the count of 3, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after it's been uploaded, on the count of 3, hit that subscribe button. Implore me, guys. I guarantee you will not regret it. 1, 2, 3, boom, subscribe. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. On the count of 3, let's hit that like button. Them thumbs up basically get your video viewed more. Pops up on feeds that it wouldn't necessarily pop up on if it didn't have as many likes. On the count of 3, guys, hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3, boom. If you did it, you're a real one. I love you for it. Raymond Solis, thanks for tuning in, my brother. All right, so today is Sunday, the weekend before the draft. The draft starts, Thursday is round 1, Friday's round 2 and 3, and then Saturdays are round 4 through 7. Yesterday, I stated who I would like to see, what position group I'd like to hit in rounds 1 through 3. But there's a whole lot of other things going on around here. Now, on Undisputed, we saw Skip Bayless say that Philadelphia is going to run away with the East and that the Cowboys will miss the playoffs. Let me get on to this show on my wife's phone. So I'm not on the laptop, I'm on my cell phone. So I can see whenever people comment easier, and I will not lose the comments. But Dano, round 1 at pick 24 right now, assuming we don't trade back or trade forward, which left tackles are not easy to find. We got one in Tyler Smith, right? He showed he could do it as a raw rookie in 2022 when Ty Smith's hamstring came off the bone. But this boy from Notre Dame, Joe Alt, Dano, in your opinion, would you trade up for Joe Alt? And we'd have to go in the top 10, maybe top 7 to do this. And if so, what would you give up in a trade to get a left tackle like Joe Alt? Because he's played the blind side all 3 years at Notre Dame. All 3 years at Notre Dame, he's allowed a total of 4 sacks in 3 collegiate years. He is the number 1, on most boards, number 1 offensive lineman prospect in the draft. He looks like he is locked and loaded, ready to go off the jump at that position. We don't have the draft capital. Yeah, we do not have. We don't have a 4th. We have a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd. No 4th. We have a 5th, a 6th, and 2 7ths. But we do have players. And to move from 24 to say 7, that is moving up 17 spots. Uh, and then you can keep Tyler left guard and Brock Hoffman as a developmental center. I don't think Brock Hoffman's that far behind Biotish. I really don't. But I'm just kind of dreaming right there. Those are the kind of videos that you see that are being put out every day about the what ifs in dream videos. I know Tom Downey and them have to pump videos out all the time. That's why during this stretch of the off season, I really can't do that because I feel like I'm wasting your time and my time. You know what I mean? Because every player's name gets linked to the Cowboys. Every scenario gets linked to the Cowboys, and they go over each scenario, what could happen, this and that, and you know it's not going to happen. In round one, I like Jackson Powers Johnson. He very well will possibly fall to our spot, and he's getting bigger and stronger, as they say right now. And he'd be a plug and play center. He'd be the best center that we've had since the beard, Travis Frederick. I mean, as a rookie, he wouldn't be near as good, of course, but he would be the best center that we've had since then. Better than Biotish, better than the guy that replaced him in 2018 for that one season. Can't remember what that guy's name was. But we have 7 picks, 2 in the 7th round. Then after that, you get the last wave of free agency. There's still a decent number of free agents out there. Yes, we signed Royce Freeman, which was like Rojo last year. I don't think he's going to make the roster. 6 seasons, 4 different teams, a total of 1,700 rushing yards. I don't know why we waste our time with stuff like that. We will have to give up a first next year to move up. Yeah. Yeah. If we wanted Joe Alt and we wanted to move up to the top 7, it would probably cost a first next year. And our first, this year of 24. But 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 maybe not. If this draft has a lot of players that we like, and we wanted to keep our 24th pick, then we could probably give up a second, a third, and first next year to move up into the top 7 to grab, say, a Joe Alt, and then at pick 24, take a running back or top defensive tackle like Byron Murphy. But yeah, you like Powers Johnson. So do I. Tyler Smith, he said and quoted that he's comfortable at left guard. He's a left guard of the Cowboys, but he's willing to do whatever we ask him to do. And my case is, as a raw rookie, 2022, a lot of people, it's going on Eric Wallace, brother, man. It's been a minute. Eric Wallace, actually a Seahawk fan, but he does cut for the Cowboys. We had a good battle this last season, Eric Wallace. That game almost ended my life. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. 3 2-point conversion tries in a row. This is my argument about not getting a left tackle at pick 24. Because to get a left tackle, especially late in the draft, and get one that can start week 1 and play well is very difficult. I mean, Tyron Smith was a top pick in 2011 because we had a horrible 2010 season. We went, 6-10, 7-9, something like that. Wade Phillips got fired. In 2022, at pick 23 or 24, we got Tyler Smith, most penalized lineman in college, out of Tulsa, supposed to be very raw. A lot of people were down on the pick. He was at left guard all offseason, all preseason, in every preseason game. And then a week before we play Tampa, old Ty Smith goes down with a hamstring off the bone. And it's like, what the fuck, man? So they had to kick the rookie, Tyler, he's a rookie at the time, to left tackle. And McGovern to left guard. And as a raw rookie in 2022, Tyler Smith held down that spot. Excellent. He went up against the likes week 1 against Shaq Barrett, week 2 against Joey Bosa. played Washington twice. That's Chase Young, Montez Sweat. Them boys played Philly twice. That's Brandon Graham. All the pass rushers they have over there. In the 2022 season, he was on the island against a lot of very good pass rushers, and he held his own. Now he's built like a guard too, though. He's got that size and that strength of a guard that can push defensive tackles. But left tackles, franchise left tackles, are so hard to find. Eric Wallace, I can just read like this. I'm right here with you, Charles. I was about to throw up, LOL. In my mind, Dak was supposed to be the NFL MVP after that game. After what game are you talking about? You talking about the Tampa Bay game of 2022, Week 1? Uh, I think that getting hurt in that game was kind of a blessing in disguise. It helped our team find itself, winning 5 in a row with Rush at quarterback, which I still believe a lot of people underestimate his skill set, and his skill level, his ceiling. I think Cooper Rush's ceiling is very high if given the opportunity. And if you remember in that season after winning 5 in a row, he wanted to beat the Eagles so bad that we had 4 turnovers in the first half in our own territory. And still, late in the second half, we pulled within 3 points. If our defense would have gotten a stop, then I think Cooper Rush would have taken the lead for us. Now the Seattle game. Oh yeah, bro. Eric Wallace, that Thursday night game against. Oh my gosh, that was for the ages. That was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Coming out that Miami loss, and the Lions went to the NFC Championship game, and the Lions were the better team, and they should have beat San Francisco. Dan Campbell, his aggressiveness just got the best of him. I mean, the aggressive calls that he was calling late in that game just blew my mind. Dan Campbell against us should have just kicked it, especially after the first flag, and he got knocked back 5 or 10 yards, whatever. They're not at the 2 no more, they're at the 7. Kick the extra point, go to overtime, Dan Campbell. Don't try an extra point from the 7-yard line against a pretty good defense. But back to what I was saying. And Tyler Smith's third year. Just like Larry Allen. Larry Allen was left guard, but he could play left tackle very well also. And we drafted Tyler to be Tyron's successor. So why the question marks now? A good lineman on the left side should be able to play both positions like Jason Peters when he was in his prime. Like Larry Allen when he was in his prime. And this kid played left tackle, his entire college career. So kick Tyler back out to left tackle. Have him play there all OTAs, all off-season, all preseason, so he gets back in the groove of things. Left guard, UDFA TJ Bass. He's very underrated. He played very good given the opportunity that he had last season. He played the whole game against Arizona, be it right guard, and then played, in and out of, some other games. He's kind of reminiscent of what Terrence Steele was, UDFA in 2020. Although Terrence Steele got to play an entire season at right tackle, he got better. In 2021, he was a better right tackle than Lyle Collins. Only reason why Collins got the job back after his suspension is because he was the one getting the money, getting paid. And that's why we let Collins go after 2022, because we knew how good Terrence Steele was. So we're really praying and hoping that second year removed from a torn ACL that he is back to the Terrence Steele that we know. He came back fast from that injury, by the way. He shredded his knee in 2022. So for him to come back week 1 of last year was amazing. Lyle Collins suffered the exact same kind of injury. And Lyle has just barely been cleared to play. Barely. Week 1 of last season, not even close, wasn't even in the ballpark. Whenever we picked him up late in the season last year, that's when he was barely, cleared to play, but wasn't even 100%. So Terrence Steele started the season like 30% and was getting better throughout the weeks, but this season he should be ready to go. But TJ Bass, at left guard. Think back, besides last season, who's been our left guard? It's been Connor McGovern and Connor Williams. I believe TJ Bass will be as good, if not better, than the two Connors. Easily. If first drops to us, if first drops would fit us perfect. Verse. Is this a round one you talking about? Or round two? And who is verse? See, when it comes to draft time, I don't watch a whole lot of college ball no more because I don't bet. I don't sports bet anymore. When I used to sports bet, I knew a bunch of the college players because you needed to. But being that I haven't sports bet years, I don't really know the collegiate players until the off season. That's when I start to get to know who's who and what's what, and only really the top names. When it comes to day three, I have no idea who's being chosen. I trust Will McClay knows what to do. When you get a chance, let me know exactly who you're talking about there. But so Jackson Powers Johnson is there at 24. You take him; he's a plug and play center, and then therefore our starting five would look like Tyler Smith, left tackle, TJ Bass, left guard, Powers Johnson at center, and Johnson, unlike Biotish, who was undersized just like McGovern and Williams at left guard, is not going to be pushed into Dak's lap. Powers Johnson, even as a rookie, will be able to move defensive tackles, move grown men. So Tyler Smith, TJ Bass, Powers Johnson, Zach Martin, and a healthy Terrence Steele. It's a damn good starting five right there, I think. Round one of the best edge in the draft. But even if the guy's really good, in the first round, you think we need to take a defensive player? Because we've been taking defensive players, high in the last few drafts for Dan Quinn. You know, right now our projected two starting defensive ends is Micah Parsons and Tank Lawrence, and they both bring a different skill set to the table. Micah is the quick, powerful pass rusher, and Tank Lawrence has become the bona fide defensive end that stops the run better than any other defensive end in the league, disciplined in his lane, and can still get to the quarterback. Kind of an all-around package defensive end, not just a pass rushing guy. He was a really good pass rusher in 2015 through 2019, but has developed into that run stopping, defensive end. But he can still get to the quarterback though. But that's a very good bookend that we have right there as starters. We need pass rush, also very good against the run. I think instead of pass rush that we had and we've had, run stopping is what we really, really need. Hey, Chris Gons, welcome. Thank you for joining, my man. Go Cowboys, Charles. Great to see you again, my man. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had to do a sabbatical after that playoff loss, like I said last night. In videos before, that was the worst playoff loss I have witnessed as a Cowboy fan. Be it the circumstances, 7 seed versus 2 seed at home, 16 in a row, averaging 40 at home all last season. We thought that we were going to waltz to the NFC Championship game, if we beat Green Bay, divisional round would be at home. Dan Quinn, I raised my eyebrow with Dan Quinn on that game because that was not a Dan Quinn type defense against that kind of offense. Jordan Love, who is still growing, has a lot of limitations still. And for him to carve up our defense like they did and run the ball at will, it's like he knew he was going to be head coach after that game. And it's like he didn't even want to go on the ride of trying to win a chip. I don't know. I don't know. I want to stick it to Washington for the whole time that he's there. I know that. And a lot of people are saying that Mozzie really fits Mike Zimmer's defensive scheme really well. That's yet to be seen. But round one, Jackson Powers Johnson. You get him, offensive line is solidified. We have Chuma Adoka right now, as a backup piece. Brock Hoffman, backup for center right now. Chris Gons, great to see you. That Green Bay loss, I hear you, was disgusting. I was disgusted myself. I took a breath from YouTube. Disappointing loss, worst playoff loss. Yeah, it was a worst playoff loss. I mean, besides 2009 going to Minnesota getting beat 34-3, that's different because Minnesota was the 2 seed, I believe. At 12-4, something like that. We were not the favorites. We were not supposed to win that game. We weren't supposed to lose it that bad either. But I was not shocked that we lost as bad as we did. I mean, we had to beat Philly week 17 and win the division to play Philly again the next week at home in the wild card round and beat them 2 weeks in a row. But this playoff loss, being that we're the 2 seed, they're the 7 seed, the way we were playing all year, it just wasn't supposed to happen like that. Made me sick. So get Powers Johnson in round 1, right? That will solidify the O-line, the starting five. I would have liked to have kept Tyron one more season, at least one more year, because them Tyron Wednesdays were working. Second team All-Pro last year behind Trent Williams. That means he was the second best left tackle in the league last year. Tyron Smith. But Tyler Smith can be our left tackle for the next 10 years to come, and they don't grow on trees. Who was our really good left tackle before Tyron Smith? Does anybody know who our left tackle was before Tyron Smith? That was really good. Somebody in the chat just put down the name if you remember. And before Flo, I almost said the name. And before the left tackle, before Tyron, the other left tackle was Mark Tuinei in the early 90s. So you got Mark Tuinei from the early 90s. We've only had 3 really good left tackles since the early 90s till now. Mark Tuinei in the 90s. And then nobody's remembering Flozell, the Hotel Adams. Y'all remember that guy? We actually got him in like the second round. He was a hell of a good left tackle for us. Then there you go. Chris Gons, you got it. You probably typing it right, right as I said it. And in 2011, we take Tyron Smith out of USC, play him at right tackle for year 1, Doug Free at left, and then swap him in 2012. And then Tyron does what he does. Then we find Tyler. Left tackles are hard to find. Ask a lot of teams out there that would love to protect the quarterback's blind side, a la Cincinnati, teams like that. So, round 2, you got that. We need a running back, right? We know Royce Freeman is not the answer. Rico Dowdle is very good in a rotation. When he gets the ball, he can make plays. We had free agency Leonard Taylor back in 2007. We had Leonard Davis we got in 2007 to play right guard for us. I remember that. In 2007, we had Flozell Adams at left tackle, Leonard Davis at left or right guard, one of the two, Andre Gerard at center. Can't remember right tackle in 2007. Surprised I cannot because I've got this Rolodex. Leonard Davis, Leonard Davis, we got him from Arizona. We had this white guy that we had signed as a free agent for the O-line back in that time, 2007. Can't remember that guy's name. He was one of the nasty players, man. But we've always maintained a good O-line, except for those 3 consecutive 8-8 seasons. But in round 2, we need a running back. And we don't want to just get. They're saying that you can find a good running back in the later rounds. But that's a position that you want to produce. Mark Colombo, you are right, Chris Gons. You're right on the money. Yep, he was right tackle, and he was a damn good right tackle too. This cat out of Texas, Jordan Brooks, that's his name, right? Tore his ACL in November. If he's young, and these injuries are with the medicine nowadays, are some players are able to bounce back quicker than before. But if not Jordan Brooks in the second round, I'd like to take the best running back available. I wouldn't want to wait till the fifth round. You can find a gym in the fifth round where you can draft another one, but round two, I would like to go running back. Now this is offense heavy in early going here because our defense. Who did we lose on defense? We didn't re-sign Gilmore. We didn't re-sign Hankins. We re-signed Jordan Lewis, which was big because he is a career slot cornerback. I apologize. Don't have a mic right now. It's me and my phone. You can hear the kids in the background. Charles, you want Powers Johnson first round? If not Graham Barton from Duke, yeah. But they say that he played left tackle and left guard for Duke, but he plays center also, which I don't understand. I know Powers Johnson played center for Oregon his whole time there. I would just like a center that's been playing center that we get so he doesn't have to, adjust. Graham Barton was playing not center last season. And I don't want to take a left tackle at pick 24 like Amarius Mims people are talking about. He's only started 8 games at left tackle at the college level. It's a very small sample size that I'm not willing to give a first round pick for, and I would not trust him to start a left tackle yet. I mean, he might be great. Who knows? I don't know. And then you got Tyler Guyton, who has also a lot of question marks. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Tyler Guyton played right tackle in college. Right tackle and left tackle are two very different things. Some people can't play both. Some people can play on one side. Hey, Raymond Solis, hi, bro. I'm glad you tuned in, my man. I just think Powers Johnson is the safest, best bet for first round offensive line. I like Powers Johnson, name coming up a lot. I think I think he'll be available pick 24. There's a possibility that 5 or 6 quarterbacks could be drafted before it's our turn, and that's good because if that's the case, that's 5 or 6 teams that are not taking who we want. One pick, 23 to 24. Can make all the difference in the world. In 2018, Philadelphia traded up to get a spot right before us in like the second and third round, and they got that tight end. I can't believe I blank on names sometimes. That balling ass tight end they have now, Dallas Goedert. And we were gonna draft him, but Philly traded up right in front of us and took him out from underneath their feet. Imagine if we would have drafted that cat, man. We ain't got to worry about it now because we have Ferguson. And I'm telling you, Ferguson's going to be the next Jason Kelsey. Watch. Mark my words. That boy has got something special to him. We got Jackie Slater in the 90s. Jay Novacek, Jason Witten. Jake Ferguson's going to be the 4th grade tight end, just like CeeDee Lamb's going to be the 4th grade receiver that we've had. Dano, how do you know, bro? Don't even know who Verse is. Yeah, I'm asking you who Verse is. Oh, well, you tell me that he's an edge rusher. I don't know all the players in the draft. I'm telling you who I think would be best to draft by position, by what we need, by needs. I'm not really going BPA, so to speak. At pick 24, that defensive back could be available. Forget what college he comes from, but he could play corner or safety. I remember Trayvon Diggs had tweeted that he would love for him to come on to this squad. But our defense is pretty. Our defense is in better shape than our offense right now. In key areas. I mean, we have Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs on the outside. If you're going to tear an ACL, you want to tear it in the off season or early in the season. So, you got plenty of time to recover. And Diggs is still young. He should be okay coming back this year. And we have Jordan Lewis in the slot. we still have safeties. Marquise Bell's not a linebacker anymore. He's going to be back at safety. So we still have Malik Hooker and Hitman Wilson. And we still have Wanye Thomas, Izzy McQuamu, who could play safety or slot corner, and Marquise Bell. Corners are there. At linebacker, we have Eric Kendricks, who is past his prime but can still play good at linebacker. Damone Clark had a good rookie year. Disappointing sophomore season doesn't mean that he can't have a good third year. And Overshawn, we didn't get to see what he could do last year, but he'll be back in the fold this season. That's three linebackers right there. Van Der Esch had to retire, but our linebackers are there. We got good defensive ends. Sam Williams, is in the rotation right there, and the guys that we drafted last year, kind of a disappointment because we are used to our rookies making instant impacts. We're used to at least 3 or 4 guys being instant impact players. Like 2022, Tyler Smith, instant baller. Deron Bland, Jordan Lewis goes down, comes in, instant baller. Jake Ferguson playing behind Dalton Schultz. Plays great as tight end number 2. Damone Clark is healthy, come week 5. Plays really good beside LVE as rookies. Those are 4 rookies that we had that made instant impacts that season. We went 12-5, won a playoff game, and lost by 7 at San Fran. Only, I think, because, we didn't get Cooks at the trade deadline. If we would have got Brandon Cooks at the trade deadline, we would have had another weapon to go to. But when Pollard went down, we had Zeke, Lamb, Hilton, Schultz, that Niners defense. You got to have a perfect quarterback, to capitalize on that. So, yeah, I can find them because I've got the top 100 draft prospects, written down on here. But, it's just strictly, who we, position-wise. So, in round 2, if somebody like Jordan Brooks is available or running back better than that, I would go, running back round 2 to go with Rico Dowdle. And then hopefully after the draft, Royce Freeman doesn't make the team, I don't think. But Zeke Elliott, he's 2 yards in the cloud of dust, right? He's not the Zeke that we used to know, but he does serve a purpose, a very good purpose. You saw what Tony Pollard was without him last year. He went from 5.1 or 2 yards a carry to 4.1 or 2 yards a carry. Elliott's that guy that soften up the defense and get, whenever it's time for that scat back to go, he's got room to run. And then he has a nose for the end zone also. 12 touchdowns in 2022. When you get inside the 10 or 5 yard line, Elliott's going to get in over that goal line. Those red zone woes we had last season, Elliott, half of those empty drives, Elliott probably could have finished them off for us. Chris Guns, I agree, Charles. We need running back. Everyone's saying Jonathan Brooks. I like him. He's very young. Oh, he's only 20. He's coming off an injury like Trey Benson at FSU. The kid Charles. I like too. Jalen Wright. I've heard of Trey Benson at FSU. I ain't heard about the Tennessee kid. If Benson's a guy, so be it, whatever. BPA in round 2 at running back is what I'm thinking. And then round 3 comes along, Tavondre Sweat catches that DWI case. That's right up our alley. We are very good at getting guys with trouble, So if Tavondre Sweat, 360-pound nose tackle, is available in the 3rd round and falls to our pick, or even if we got to trade up a few spots to get him, I would do it. I know Quentin Bohanna out of Kentucky was 360 pounds, but he had something missing. He wasn't able to cut it. But if we were to get a Tavondre Sweat, teamed up with Osa Digizua, and hopefully a better Mozzie Smith, that would help the interior of the defensive line. Let me look something up real quick. And the guys that we got in the draft last year, they were all rookies. None of them really made a big splash. None of them did at all. Those guys that we drafted last year, that draft class, Schoonmaker, all them, hopefully they can make a jump in year two. Hopefully Schoonmaker can become a really good tight end too for us. Hopefully Mozzie catches on, gets some more weight on him, and this scheme fits him better, hopefully. And hopefully Mozzie Smith can be that defensive tackle that we were looking for. Even if we get, Tavondre from Texas, and Osa Digizua, that'd be a good interior package for us. A young one too, because Osa is going to his fourth year. Mozzie to his second. This Texas kid would be a rookie. Schoonmaker can become, a really good tight end number two because he was drafted very high. That would give us two good tight ends with Ferguson balling out and then blanket him, Schoonmaker, carve you up. That'd be great. If Fahoko Jr., who didn't play much last year, can get involved this year. I mean, he's a tweener. He can play defensive end, defensive tackle, three tech. If those guys can contribute this year, along with a really good draft class this year, where three or four guys make impacts on year one, that is huge. And with Skip Bayless saying that Cowboys are going to miss the playoffs is just completely ludicrous. Y'all remember the 2022 offseason, right? Everybody said it was a punt season. Dano, I believe you said it was a punt season. That 2022 offseason, we traded Cooper for peanuts. We let Cedric Wilson walk, so we're losing our number one, number three receiver. We give Michael Gallup a contract after tearing up his knee. We lose Randy Gregory to Denver. We lose Connor Williams to Miami, who was left guard at the time. We lose Tyron Smith for most of the year because that hamstring comes off the bone. So there's a lot of guys that we lost that all season. And who did we sign? James Washington and Dante Fowler. That's about it. And I kept telling everybody addition by subtraction that's how they're playing this all season. And we were pretty good that year. Devondre Sweat, Texas big nose tackle, would be great. He's a big boy. Yeah. That DWI charge, could be a blessing in disguise for us. But, it's yet to be determined. I'm trying to see if Calais Campbell has signed. Okay, so he is still a free agent. He played for Atlanta last year. I thought we would pick him up because in 2022, Calais Campbell had a better stat line than all our defensive tackles put together. And I was like, man, this guy's played a long time. He still got it. You would think he'd be ring chasing right now instead of going for the biggest bag. Players that are accomplished in late 30s, they want that ring. So in the draft, if we get that offensive lineman to solidify the old line, we get that running back, we get that defensive tackle, help stop that run, then the last wave of free agency would be beautiful. Charles, yes, defensive tackle we got to address with Jonathan Hankins and Gallimore gone. And starters Mozzie still developing. I hope he picks it up. But defensive tackle is a question. Yeah, defensive tackle has to be a, round 1, 2, or 3 pick. Not round 1. I wouldn't go round 1, but round 2 or round 3. Maybe we get a defensive tackle in round 2 and a running back in round 3. That's fine. First round offensive lineman, center preferably, unless we just happen to land another Tyler Smith that could play left tackle as a rookie, But other than that, second round and third round could be running back and defensive tackle in either order. It does not matter, not to me. And then the last wave of free agency after that, once the draft is done, we will pick up a few more players that are out there. Lad McConkey in round two. Okay, I'm gonna look this guy up. You talking about Dano? You be keeping up with a lot of these college players. I'm gonna see who this lad McConkey is. He spelled his name C. Oh, my wife's phone is retarded. Alright, so he's talking about this guy from Ohio State, wide receiver. So, in wide receiver, man, round two, you go wide receiver. I know last season, the first half of the year, Brandon Cooks, we didn't know how to use him. You know, he was getting used to this new system that we're implementing. The Texas Coast offense was really just West Coast offense all the way. But in the latter part of the year, Brandon Cooks was getting utilized more. Him and Dak started to find each other more often. And right now, they're practicing in the Dak yard. CD, him, Jalen, all them boys. So right now, as it sits with Lamb at wide receiver one, who is a motherfucking beast. I mean, 1,750 yards, 12 tubs, over 100 grabs again. The only receiver, only Cowboy in franchise history to have multiple 100-catch seasons. Only the playmaker and Jason Witten have had those, and that was only once. Michael Irvin did it, 93, and Jason Witten did it in '07 or 2011, something like that. No, yeah, I'm not saying that lad McConkey is a bum. He could be the best route runner in the draft. But to me, right now, I'm comfortable with CD Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. You know, Michael Gallup's gone. Jalen Tolbert and this seventh round pick that we had last year, Jalen Brooks, who I thought had no shot to make the team. Number 83, whenever he had opportunities in the regular season last year, he looked pretty good. I mean, he played well. I didn't think he'd make the team. I looked at his size. He didn't have much size. It wasn't like he was 6'4", 6'5". He didn't have much vertical. His speed, his 40 time was not impressive. This guy didn't have size or speed. I was like, why did we draft this guy, Jalen Brooks? And then he makes the team. I'm like, wow, he made the team, and he dressed, and he looked pretty good, and he might have something to say this year. Cooks is mid at best. I think with his second year with us, Dano, his second year as a Cowboy, I think he's going to be a better number two receiver than he was last year. Being that he has got chemistry with Prescott now, he knows the offense now, and it's no conspiracy that everywhere he went, he was a 1,000-yard receiver. Even with Houston, he was a 1,000-yard receiver with two different quarterbacks, Watson and rookie Davis Mills. He's not in his prime anymore, no, but he's still got that speed to take the top off of defense. And that's kind of what you want. You want that big physical receiver like a CD Lamb. And then you want that small, speedy type guy like a Brandon Cooks. Think back to 1999, before Michael Irvin broke his neck and had to retire. We had picked up Rocket Ishmael that all season. Small, speedy receiver. So Troy Aikman had big old physical number 88 and playmaker. And he had Rocket Ishmael on the other side, a little small, speedy guy. Perfect combination. In 1999, when points were not scored near as much as they are now, we scored 100 points in the first 3 games. We started off 3-0. Beat Washington 41-35 in overtime. Beat Atlanta 20-43 in week 2 and beat the breaks off the Cardinals 35-7 in week 3. And our offense was moving up and down the field big time. Our offensive line was okay. It still had game in them. But that combination was very good. And if Michael Irvin would not have went down, that team would have made a run. But with the playmaker going down, he was the leader of that team at that time. With the playmaker going down, for good after, in the fourth game at Philly. That kind of really killed, everything we had going on. Charles, have you looked up a lot of the college prospects? I know we need a center first round, but on defense, I like the guy from Missouri, Darius Robinson, big physical pass rusher. Look him up. Darius Robinson. As far as pass rushers, do y'all think Sam Williams is going to make a big step from year 2 to year 3? Because we drafted him to replace Randy Gregory. That was his whole purpose of being a second round pick of the 2022 draft, was to replace the departed Randy Gregory who left for Denver. This guy is Darius Robinson. Now, as far as round 5, round 6, now we tend to hit on round 5 picks. I mean, we have if you look back in the draft, in round 5, we've hit on some some players. I mean, Damone Clark and Deron Bland, round 5 guys, So I'm not opposed to, in round 5, 6, and 7, I'm not opposed to going just BPA all the way. You know what I mean? Or in round 3, if we're still able to get who we want to get, trade back a little bit to get that 4th round pick back that we gave for Trey Lance. That would be huge right there, because in the 4th round, we're able to hit on people too. I mean, we don't just find stars in the 1st and 2nd and 3rd rounds. We find them all throughout the draft. Detroit native Darius Robinson, Missouri. He could play defensive line, edge. Cardinals are kind of looking at him. I think our defense is in really good shape, especially if we bring in if we bring back Gilmore, that would give us cornerback depth like we had last season. If we didn't have Jordan Lewis, a lot of people wanted us to cut Jordan Lewis to free up $2 million, which made no sense, even though he's coming off that Liz Frank injury. If we didn't have Jordan Lewis last year, Trayvon Diggs goes down, right? Deron Bland had to kick outside. He'd probably stayed inside. And we'd had Nashawn Wright, Tupac, Biggie, and Imama rotating, trying to play opposite Gilmore, and it had been a nightmare. But being that we had Jordan Lewis, Blaine was able to kick out outside, and Lewis was able to play inside. That saved the season right there. Cornerback depth is very important. That's why I really, really want to pick up Gilmore. Worst case scenario, sign Steven Nelson as backup, But, if we could trade back and get a 4th round pick and still get a running back and defensive tackle round 2, round 3, that's great. That'd be really great. Or even in the 1st round, if Jackson Powers Johnson is dropping, and we could get him at pick 30, and whoever has pick 30 wants to, trade to pick 24, and we can get a 4th out of it, that'd be like found money. That'd be like found money right there. If we could still get our guy in the 1st round and trade back and acquire a 4th round pick for doing that. Maybe a 4th and a 5th, maybe, who knows? Who knows, what you could demand for that. Only 6 spots, but still. I mean, you saw what Carolina gave up to Chicago to move up 7 spots from 8 to 1, to get Bryce Young. They gave up the farm and DJ Moore. But yeah, day 3, best player available. Pick up an edge rusher, linebacker, maybe another running back. It don't matter. Just anybody but quarterback, because that's what Trey Lance was for. That's why we traded for him. If things for some reason don't work out with Dak, Lance has been around long enough now to where maybe he could be a successor. It took Romo, 3.5 seasons before he was ready to really take the helm seriously. I mean, he sat on the bench, third string, second string and starter. So bottom line is, this is not going to be a tank season, a punt season. We're going to win at least 12 games again. I know the schedule is much harder than it was last year. Last year we had easy divisional, we had the AFC East and, the NFC, the hell was it? Who was it? NFC West. Yeah, the NFC West, with San Fran was, really the biggest team there. But this season, it's gonna be much harder. Houston is our 17th game. We played them at home though, because we played at the Chargers last year. So we got Houston at home. That's game 17. Don't know where it'll be at in the schedule. We'll be playing the AFC North with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy, and Cleveland. That is, Browns look damn good. That defense. Bengals are who they are. Baltimore is who they are, and Pittsburgh's always a contender. And then we're going to be up against the NFC South, Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Carolina. That'll be a little bit of a break there, but and then in our division, yeah, Washington got Dan Quinn as head coach, right? They signed Tyler Biadasz from us for center, right? They took Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler from us to replace Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They still had Jerome Payne, who they paid a bunch to, and Jonathan Allen, the defensive tackle. The defense will probably be pretty good under Dan Quinn. But they don't have a quarterback right now. They don't have a quarterback. They have Terry McLaurin at receiver, offensive line. They don't have no offensive line, and their running backs are okay at best. We will sweep Washington. The Giants. Oh, my bad, Chris. I'm getting caught up in what I'm saying here. I heard Cowboys like Darius Robinson, the wild card. Yeah, I've even seen mock drafts having us take a linebacker in the first round out of Michigan, I think, or something like that, which would be completely stupid to take a linebacker in round one. I hope Sam Williams does pick it up. We need him. Yeah, that's right, Chris. Hope Trayvon Diggs and Overshawn can heal up and return healthy. I think the Cowboys are banking on their returns. Yeah, hell yeah, we're banking on them to come back healthy. Trayvon Diggs especially. I believe if Diggs wouldn't have went down with a torn ACL, that he would have been the best cornerback in the NFL last year. I believe he would have been the best statistical cornerback in 2023 if he would not have went down the way he did. But shit happens, and thank God we had Gilmore, and that's why I want Gilmore back again this year because he played damn good for 33 years old. Charles, Houston Texans are going to be tough. We got to battle Detroit, San Francisco. Yeah, since we won the division, Detroit and San Fran are first place teams. We play them. Houston won the South. We play them, but we do play the NFC South, right? Because it was the NFC North in 23 West, so that'll be a break in the schedule there. That's Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Carolina. But then, like you said, Detroit again, San Francisco again, and then the AFC North, which all four teams are tough right there. But as I was getting back to our division, I think we're going to repeat for the first time since 94, 95. That's the last time we repeated as division champs. Washington, like I said, the defense will probably be good, be all right. Offense will be makeshift offense. Our defense will exploit them, shut them down. We'll sweep Washington. The Giants, they lost Saquon Barkley to Philly, the best offensive weapon by far. And the biggest move was they got Brian Burns, pass rusher from Carolina. So they have a good defensive line now. They have Brian Burns and Kevin Thibodeau as pass rushers, Dexter Lawrence on the inside of the D line. Deontay Banks, first round corner of last year. Xavier McKinney, decent secondary, decent linebackers. But they still have Daniel Jones. And they still have really, offensive line still very suspect. That left tackle, they have Andrew Thomas, pretty good. Evan Neal has been a disappointment as a top 5 pick at right tackle. The offensive line's not that good. Evan Ingram's getting older. Who are they going to get for running back? Nobody as good as Barkley was. I know that. And the way that Philly crashed and burned at the end of the season last year, Philly was not impressive all year. They were barely getting by games up until they played San Francisco. And then once they played San Francisco, they got exposed because then they played us again at our crib. And we only lost by 6 at their house. They came to our crib and got blown out. And then they lose against Arizona and the Giants. And then, the first round of the playoffs, they get beat just like we did. Kellen Moore's the new offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore is not a run-calling offensive coordinator. He is an aerial attack type of guy. Yes, they have 2 good receivers still, but that offense is built to run the football. They don't have Jason Kelsey anymore. That was the leader of the offensive line. They do have Saquon Barkley at running back, but they had DeAndre Swift last season. Both running backs have injury problems, injury histories. DeAndre Swift played all last season without getting injured, surprisingly. He had never eclipsed 600 yards in a season. Saquon has had an injury-riddled career. So they're just hoping that he's able to stay healthy also. He's no spring chicken. He was drafted in 2018, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So he's going in his 6th season as a running back. As a running back, your 6th season, it's kind of like, it's not young. And on defense, Xavier McKinney went to Green Bay. Okay, so the Giants don't even have him at safety. And Philly better hope Saquon is healthy. Exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Boston Scott is gone. Jason Kelsey is gone. Fletcher Cox had to retire. They had to trade Hassan Reddick away for cap reasons. That was by far their best pass rusher. I looked at my phone. It said they got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. Is that true, Chris? Is CJG back in Philly after he went to Detroit last year? Because that's kind of hard to believe that he would leave the Lions when they were a game away from the Super Bowl to go back to the Eagles. And even when the Eagles traded for Kevin Byard last season, that did not help the defense. The defense was horrible. all them names, still horrible. I mean, it was bad the year before. It was bad last year. Really bad last year. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Now, he was really good for him in 2023. Now, I can't believe that the Saints traded him away for a 3rd-round pick. Let's see where CJG went. Yep, he's back in Philly. So, Eagles have Byard and CJG back. Darius Slade is 1 year older. He's not like Gilmore, where he's like Richard Sherman was when he went to San Fran, old and still playing really good. His play is declining, and James Bradbury is just a guy. There's nothing special about James Bradbury. C.D. Lamb was whooping on that boy as a rookie. Their top linebacker is Nakobe Dean, who is still unproven going into year 3. As a rookie, wasn't too good coming off injury. Last year, really non-existent. They have Jordan Davis and that other boy at defensive tackle they got last year at pick 4, who played pretty well as a rookie. And they also have that other rook, Nolan at edge. But I don't think Philly's going to take the division. We might split games. But I see us going 5-1, if not sweeping the East and winning the East again, back to back for the first time since 94-95, winning 12 games again. But having a tougher schedule is better than having a soft schedule because it gets you battle tested for January. The AFC North, all 4 of them games are going to be battles. San Fran and Detroit are going to be battles. That's 6 battles right there. Philly will be a battle. I mean, they're not bad. So that's 8 battles right there. Houston's going to be a battle. That's 9 battles right there. I mean, Houston's going to gonna want blood, and they're gonna be playing at our house this time. They did last time also. Bryce Huff is signed with Philly. Eagles also signed Devin White from Tampa. Devin White is so overrated. I hope they overpaid for him because Levante David was the good linebacker at Tampa. He made Devin White's job a lot easier. Devin White as a rookie got a lot of praise, but he's not that he ain't nothing to sneeze at. No, he is something to sneeze at. My bad. Match Devin White up against Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson take him on a ride all day. Uh, yeah, that's just a guy. Also, doesn't worry me at all. Eric in Seattle, not on the schedule this year. No, that's the NFC West opponent since they didn't win their division. Eric, San Fran did. We'll now we'll play the Niners, not the Seahawks, but the Seahawks did finish second, I believe. So they will play Philly. Seahawks will play the Eagles next season. And Seattle's dangerous. They're very, very dangerous. And if those draft picks they had last year keep developing in the year two, you got DK, Tyler Lockett, JSN at wide receiver. Those two corners they got, man, uh, damn, same of those. They got the best cornerback in the draft last year. Was it Witherspoon? And then the guy opposite him, they got him early in the draft the year before, and that guy is like 6'4", runs like a 4.3 40. Big physical corners. Jamal Adams at safety, Bobby Wagner still at middle linebacker. That defensive line still got some people on it. If they just get an explosive running back in the draft and solidify the O line, Geno Smith and company is going to be a dark horse, to make a run for the title next year. That's a game that Philly does not want to have. And being that we play Houston, who finished second in the South, you got the Jags. It had to be Jacksonville, so Philly plays Jacksonville next year too. Yeah, it's Devin Witherspoon, and then who was the cornerback opposite Witherspoon? Can't remember that guy's name, but he was very good also. And DK is just a beast, but just because of the lack of the moves, it's like Stephen Jones said recently. We plan on retaining CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Dak Prescott, of course. Even though Dak hasn't been re-signed yet, Dak said he's not looking to be the highest paid player in the league. And these guys are going to cost money. And we've got a very good roster as it is. We had a Super Bowl roster the last 3 seasons, but we haven't executed. So why go out and spend a stupid amount of money on a couple of free agents that could, wind up not panning out? We would like them to, we'd like them to go, Tariq Woolen, opposite Devin Witherspoon. Eric, you're right. Yeah, that's a very good duo. They got rid of Adams. Wagner, I believe you mentioned him. He's in. Oh, did Bobby Wagner go to Washington? I mean, he's still good and all. In his prime, he was all world, but he's Dan Quinn will get some good out of him, but he's not the Bobby Wagner people used to fear. But yeah, whenever you have a Super Bowl roster, you might go all in on a player or two via trade or free agency. But I mean, that's what after the draft we'll address what we need to address, and I believe we'll win the East, and win at least 12 games again and vie for the 1 seed. San Francisco showed that they were human last season. They lost 3 in a row. They got blown out by Baltimore. Detroit, who was at the championship game, is human. We beat them. Bobby Wagner did go to Washington. Chris Gunn says Dan Quinn's good at getting the most out of his guys. Yeah, he is. But Sam Howell got traded, right? The quarterback. So they'll be drafting the quarterback, a Daisy Fresh rookie, and it's hard to get a CJ Stroud like the Texans did. Hell, CJ Stroud might have a down year in year two since people have tape on him now. You never know. But if the draft goes well and we make some good moves after the draft, expect a very good season, Cowboy Nation. I'm telling you that right now. Everybody can downplay everything all they want to, just like they did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we were 2 games away from the Super Bowl. That's the fact of the matter. And we were most likely an injury away from the championship game 2 years ago when we did nothing in the offseason. We did absolutely nothing in the offseason last year. We didn't sign, 2 years ago, we didn't sign Eric Hendricks. We signed a James Washington and a Dante Fowler. One guy that didn't play and the other guy that was a rotational player. Kendricks is going to be a starting linebacker for us. Veteran guy that played for Mike Zimmer for many years. And Mike Zimmer is probably going to bring what we need on defense to solidify this defense, stop the run, and make it the defense that it's supposed to be. Because this defense has the talent to be historically good, like the LOB, or the no-fly zone, or the 02 Bucks, or the 99 Bucks. Not the 2000 Ravens, 85 Bears. Those two teams are defense on tier their own, but like the LOB and no-fly zone defenses like that. The 03, 04 Patriots, And honestly, Seahawks might go quarterback. Probably won't get them Phoenix in round one. I don't know, man. Geno Smith, I thought he got paid, and he he plays pretty well. You saw him sling that ball against our defense that Thursday night. He was doing pretty good. He was doing so good they had to take Deron Bland away from DK and tell Gilmore covered Metcalf, and Metcalf didn't have another catch in the game. That's how good Gilmore is. That's why I'm surprised we have not retained him for another year. Yes, we need this draft. Charles, do you believe before the season starts we get Dag and CD contracts done? I think before the season starts we'll get Micah and CDs done, and Prescott probably mid-season. I don't think before the season, probably mid-season. And I don't think Dak's going to worry about it. It's just like 2020. After he broke his leg, they came to terms with a contract after the season was over. But CD will get paid before the season starts, and most likely Micah also. Because the more you wait, the more expensive it's going to be down the road. Now, Lamb will be an unrestricted free agent after this year. He's in his 5th year, and technically Micah Parsons is under contract through 2025 with his 5th year option, but I don't think they're going to make him wait that long. Yeah, and also having Howell now solidifies no quarterback early. Yeah. For Washington, they're going to go quarterback with their first round. They're like what, pick 2 or 3 or something like that. So they're definitely going quarterback. And Dan Quinn has never coached a team that had a rookie quarterback. He had Russell Wilson when he was defensive coordinator, and he had Matty Ice when he was head coach of Atlanta. So you better have a good offensive coordinator. That's all I can say. Eric Bieniemy, I think is who it is. But anybody who is offensive coordinator for Patrick Mahomes is going to look good, of course. you can make noise. It's okay. But yeah, Cowboys Nation, don't be discouraged. Be excited for what happens, this Thursday through Saturday, and then what we do after that. So I'm telling you, come week 1, once the schedule comes out, we know who we play week 1. Come week 1 in September, this team is going to be game to play football. And Dak Prescott will be in his 9th year. And I keep going back to this same analogy time in and time out. Now, I'm not comparing the two quarterbacks, not even close. Okay, they're in different stratospheres. Peyton Manning is my favorite quarterback of all time. I believe he's better than Tom Brady. I believe if Peyton would have been drafted by the Patriots, they'd have won 8 while he was there. But it took Peyton Manning till his ninth season to get to the Super Bowl and win it. His first 8 seasons, he had 3 playoff victories. 3 in his first 8 years. Dak has 2. The narrative on Peyton Manning was in a regular season, he's lights out. His stats are out the roof. His touchdowns, that are amazing. His completion percentage is amazing. He is the regular season king, MVP, everything. But when it comes to the January, Peyton can't get it done. That was the narrative on Peyton Manning. 3 playoff wins in that 8 year stretch. Dak only has 2. In his ninth season, when he won a Super Bowl, it was a team one playoff run. In round one, it was a playoff. It was a team win. I forgot who they played in round one. In round two, it was the defense that won the game for him. They go to Baltimore. Peyton Manning puts up 5 field goals, can't find the end zone, but that Colts defense holds Baltimore to 2 field goals. They win 15-6. The game after that, they get down 21-3. Peyton Manning has to put on the cape, engineers an amazing comeback. So the offense wins that game. And in the Super Bowl against Chicago, first play of the game, Devin Hester takes it to the house. Then after that, offense, defense, and special teams all come together to beat Chicago. Peyton Manning did not win his first Super Bowl just because of his arm. It was a team effort. All 3 phases of the game came together. Same with 2015 when they, beat Carolina. Defense playing defense, special teams doing what they do, and Peyton Manning, their offense doing what they had to do. Team effort. You, Charles, gonna be on draft nights. Thursday, yeah, for sure, and Friday most likely, yeah. Saturday, I'll probably recap what happened after on Saturday. That'll be the first time that I've done a draft party show, so that'd be kind of cool. But yeah. Round one, I'll be live for sure, and then on Friday for rounds 2 and round 3, hopefully it goes the way I was saying: offensive lineman, and then either running back or DT round 2 and 3 on Friday, and then on Saturday, whoever they feel is best for the job. We'll see, but this team will be locked and loaded, ready to go. And Brandon Cooks probably will have 1,000 yards this season, being that he knows this offense now, and Dak knows how he plays and how to get him the football. And maybe he has a couple of deep ones. Devontae Turpin is becoming more and more of a receiver. If you have not noticed, he could be a nice X factor weapon on offense as we have a good return man. And we got Justin Tucker Jr. as kicker and Brandon Aubrey. 2 guys from the USFL that became gems. We find diamonds everywhere. So, yeah, don't believe all this hype and BS everybody's saying, all these talking heads and whatnot. Cowboys put a fork in them, they're done because they didn't sign any big people in free agency. Yeah, we'd like to see that. It's entertaining. But we forget how much talent we still have on this roster and what's to come here this week and after the draft. And then who knows, before training camp, maybe we pull off a trade of some sort. You never know. We didn't see the Gilmore trade coming, and we did not see the Cooks trade coming. Those are 2 total surprises that hit us blindside. We had an idea that we might be trading for somebody else, and then Gilmore, where'd that come from? And then Cooks, I thought we were getting DeAndre Hopkins. You never know. So, it's going to be a good season and another entertaining season. And I do not believe we will exit this season like we did last year, being that our defensive coordinator is going to be here for a while, most likely, unless Belichick is hired in 2025. Wouldn't that be something, man? All right, guys, keep God first and foremost. Okay, he comes before everything, even this. Seek him in his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I'm a living testimony of that, even though I'm going through a valley right now, peaks and valleys in life. I keep my eyes on Jesus, and that's what gets me through every day. Live one day at a time, guys. If y'all watch this to the end, it's a minute, 15 seconds. You are a real one. I love you for it. Please subscribe, like, and share this content if you will. It's been a pleasure. I've had a good time, man. Thanks, Chris, for tuning in. Yes, go Cowboys. Thanks, Dano. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Raymond. Everybody else who jumped in, man. Appreciate y'all. And if you're watching this after the fact when it's uploaded, like I said, please subscribe. The subscribe button is free. Costs you nothing. It's a free investment to help grow the show into something that you will look forward to watching every day. That is the plan. If I'd have known it was this easy to start your own Cowboys, syndicate show, I'd have done it 10 years ago. Seriously. But I'm not huge on technology, so I didn't know it was that easy to do. If I'd have started this in 2013, this show would be so freaking big right now, it'd be ridiculous. Thank you again, Chris, man. You are always there, time in and time out, my brother. Whenever this show gets big, I'm bringing you with me. I'm bringing you, Eric, Dano, all the good faithful that's been with me from day one. Sugar Daddy Williams, who couldn't be here tonight, everybody who I'm talking about, y'all know y'all are. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Y'all, Sunday night, y'all have a good, blessed week. And I'll catch y'all this week, guys. Charles in Charge is out. Deuce.